Sure. I was just thinking about hashtag Seder, which is a device in Twitter where if you put the number sign or the hashtag, then it just collects all this information about every time that word was used. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah, I would say to you, no, that's not what we're saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that we can't evade what is happening in our learners' lives. And so we need to be able to be responsive, and we need to be able to be in tune and hear. And if we don't know, we ask, because they love educating other people about what they think is cool. So you don't need to have all this knowledge. What does a hashtag mean? Will you explain that to me? Because I had no idea. Great opportunity to engage your learner in something that's relevant for them, and you to learn what's going on in their lives, and for them to see that they have a place in this too, and that we're learning together. So to me, I consider myself fairly relevant in terms of the digital technology pieces and how I utilize it and how I communicate with people. But I feel very out of date as soon as I start working with a 7th grader. I just ask. And I just try to understand where they're coming from. And then they see that I actually care about their lives as a caring Jewish adult.
No. No. Everything that Naomi said as well. I think, at least what I'm saying is, know that that's the kind of learners that you have. And know, I mean, we could just ask teachers who are in the classroom, teachers who've been in the classroom for 10 years even, certainly the ones who've been 20 years, can tell you right now that kids are different. Kids act different. Kids, you know, if we were to be honest with ourselves, kids learn differently on some level now than they used to. So know that when you're going in. The best example we've had so far is this question of like, who's the authority in the classroom? And I think it's a really clear example, because there was once a time when I was the teacher, I had the answers, you came to me, you got knowledge, and you know, you went home. But you don't need me for information anymore. You just don't need me. If that's what you're coming to me for, then I am completely irrelevant. Okay? So that's just one example, and I think we could come up with more. And on our end, I want to repeat that I do not really foresee a time when the Teva Learning Center will be using Twitter or Facebook. Well, we've been talking about Facebook. Whatever. So we maybe use the technology. We do. But it was like really hard to get it to happen. So we're also sort of old-fashioned in this. No, there is a good chance that we would use the technology, but not necessarily in our day-to-day teaching. And so for us, again, it's a question of like, what are we balancing? And
yeah, and again, my answer would be no, that's not what I meant. But I want to pick up on something that Nili just said. It doesn't matter whether you are setting up a Facebook page, because somebody is, and many of particularly, and it will happen, and they will use it. So do you need to do a lesson on Twitter? Probably not. I'll tell you, I don't Twitter at all. But you got to know that the people you're dealing with do. And maybe, you know, this is what I meant in terms of engagement. You can empower those people that are really more active on that digital landscape to be your, you know, and this is something you see out there if you're follow marketing and you know, what's going on in the business world. These people can be your evangelists. And Jeffrey did something, you know, about that with us in terms of evangelical marketing. But you have people out there that do feel extremely passionately about the work you do. You have people who are engaged, want to be engaged. But the best way to make that engagement happen is to continue to empower those people. And that's, again, that's sort of our role as educators, teachers, professors, whatever it might be. Yes, drastically changing. You know, I did a lesson once. You know, I asked the students I had in front of me, you know, okay, go get some information on here's a wide number of subjects. Nobody asked me. Everybody went right on the computer. And it was interesting. I mean, like, you know, what you can do in 5 minutes on the computer, the truth is, like, the stuff I'd asked them to do, I know more. At least I think I do, than they were able to find in 5 minutes. But that might not matter to them.